Heidi Ho. Welcome back. Before the video begins, I'd like to say I'm sorry that this lighting has kind of come out to look like a true crime documentary. I look like I'm in the new Netflix produced special about a serial killer or something like that. I hope I don't also look like the serial killer. This is my personal copy of Atomic Habits, and if you'd like to know how to harness the power of habit and automated response, you should read this book. It's rather good. Most people understand why habit is a good thing to cultivate. If you wish to master a skill, if you wish to have a solid routine or sleeping routine, which I know some of you may not have, or if you want to save energy by creating automated responses that your brain just does, that's a habit. Aristotle has a very quoted phrase, a maxim: excellence then being of these two kinds, intellectual and moral. Intellectual excellence owes its birth and growth mainly to instruction, and so requires time and experience, while moral excellence is the result of habit or custom. Famous athlete Will Durant, which you may know or have heard, has a famous summation of this line, which reads, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. You may have heard that quote somewhere before, and I think it's a fairly excellent summation of Aristotle's opinions on moral excellence, habit, and virtue, as Aristotle introduced the idea of increasing your moral character in your mind like strengthening a muscle. The more you do it, the more you focus on it, the better you get. Conversely, it's also important to remember the inverse of positive habits. Habits can sometimes be maladaptive. You may have noticed that you have some destructive or wasteful habits which may get you into a pickle. It's very important to remember these as well, as you gain compound interest from positive habits, but compounding negatively, habits have a much stronger negative spiral impact. One of the main themes uniquely presented in this book is a unique interpretation of the Stoic dichotomy of control. The author, James Clear, which may be backwards to you, I'm not sure, has on his website stated that he has read and taken inspiration from Stoic literature. I think I remember him referencing Seneca's letters to his friend Lucilius, which is a famous Stoic series of letters we will be reading in the future. In Stoicism, the dichotomy of control is a theory that states that it's only logical for people to view their life and their efforts with concern as to what they can influence and do. So, if something is outside of your control, like your reputation or your mortality, then it'd be wise not to concern yourself with it. But if it's inside of your control, like remembering to do the right thing as often as you can, then logically, since it's what you have most control over, you should spend your time considering that and value that the highest. Similarly, the author, Mr. Clear, uses a slightly altered version for goal attainment, which he theorizes as systems. In his writings, he says that you should be focused on your system rather than your goal, your daily practice and identity, and not the end point. If you wish to gain a lean and muscular physique, your goal and what you focus on shouldn't necessarily align. Your goal being improved aesthetics of your body, but what you focus on would be cultivating a character of someone who is determined and who enjoys and regularly practices exercise, and to focus on doing exercise every day. What you focus on should be what you can do. You may not ever necessarily reach your goal, though you may, but it's more important to focus on what you have influence most over. And you have far more influence over getting up and doing a workout and trying to enjoy it than you do on the morphosis of your physique. And the author also states that you're actually far more likely to reach your goals if you set yourself to focus on your systems, which seems kind of ironically and humorously satirical, as you end up getting what you're not wanting the most. What you want is to be fit and healthy, and what you get is your previous goal. Practically, this book, in the way of much self-help literature and writing, is very sweet to read. It's a little bit like candy. It's quite easy to read, and it helps you out a lot. Each chapter has interesting stories to entertain you, but I don't want to take away from this book. It's still quite good and definitely has very thorough research. I would very highly recommend this book to anyone interested in cultivating habits and gaining a better life, improving themselves, or with any sort of interest into current theories of habit and motivation. I found it quite an interesting read and quite a fun read, and as you'll see, there's much to go back to. As you can see, all of the tabs I have left in. There's a lot I hope I'll be going back to and referencing in the future. If you'd like a slightly more detailed review, I have one on my website, which you can visit through the link in my description. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you didn't feel too strange watching with this weird lighting setup that I have, and I hope that the dark background didn't creep you out or anything. I'm still very new to lighting. Thank you for watching. We have surpassed 300 subscribers and are getting close to the 350 mark at day of recording. I hope that you managed to have a pause and a rest and a break and maybe a reprieve from whatever your worries may be. Thank you for joining me for another episode, and good night.